give up that many kills early and a first blood, and you still win, you know, A, you've had some fantastic solo play, which we saw from Xiao Wei, but B, you had a really strong draft. So
yeah. I definitely agree with you there. I think the Rubik pick was a little bit weak just because you talked about Shadow Demon being much better versus Batrider. They didn't really have any flexibility in their team fight. They had to rely on absolutely sick, nasty hookshot cog separate from ROTK. And even if you have that, they have the Naga Siren Sleep to just get back into position and reset or just drop a call down or burn BKBs, whatever they want to do. And the flexibility from their lineup was just way too great. And Rubik, I think, could have been replaced by Shadow Demon. Clockwork is not the best counter initiate versus a Batrider because he can just Firefly over it and he can just Force Staff and just bring the fight away from them. It doesn't really do that much, especially if you don't gank with too much with it. Like, they get it for team fight, but Clockwork's more of a ganker. I don't think he's that great at team fight, especially versus their lineup.
Also, cogs are just a double-edged sword, really. When you're up against Twin-Headed Dragon, Naga Siren, it's a lot of AoE, Firefly as well. You hook in and, well, you may end up just getting your team killed if you trap the wrong heroes in the cogs.
Yeah. I mean, I want to raise a hypothetical question here. We're seeing definitely Batrider is the most powerful hero here. Batrider needs to be banned out, but that means things like AM and Alchemist comes back in. Ooh. Do you want to see Bat or do you want to see AM? And
well, I think they can just leave both of them in the pool, right? So you can just ban.
I was saying, if you get AM, we get Bat.
Right, they can just counter that way, and I think that might be more.
You know, the other big thing in that game, the more that I think about it and look at it, is they didn't have a great way to stop the 5-man because they didn't have that much AoE, which you talked about a lot, Marlene, and they also just didn't have great split push. So no split push, no AoE, or minimal AoE. How do you actually counter the 5-man of LGD? And that's where the anti-mage really comes into play. You get something like that, and maybe it's a different game.
Yeah, and I think actually the Darkseer was banned out by DK, and the Furion was banned out by LGD.
Yeah, the Nature's Prophet for RTK, one of his signature heroes, and that's the kind of hero I think they want if they want to. If they're going to give away that kind of a strong 5-man, they need some way to split push, because you just can't take 5-man fights against Gyro, Twin-Headed Dragon, Naga Siren, and a tanky hero like Alone Druid, and the Batrider Initiation. It's just too much.
All right, yeah. So as you, I'm getting overwhelmingly tired now. I'm still adjusting through all the kind of
Hang in there,
lag
buddy.
and sleeping. But they're in the lobby, Melini. You're our checker.
Sure.
So you can just see what they're going, how they're doing. If we've got a couple of minutes, maybe Cal wants to go to commercial break before we go to game 2. He's like, yeah, sure, that's good.
Sounds good,
should run
James. He's very obedient now. You've house-trained him.
You stroked him a lot.
I've invited him to a party with a really hot cosplay player.
Yeah.
Cosplayer.
Oh, he's invited? You didn't invite me.
What's her name? Vampire. Vampy bit me. Yeah. So when I told him I had some invites to that party, he was like, "Yeah."
Where's my
now
invite?
He listens. You can come too. Cool.
Okay.
All right then. Yeah. So we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna have the conclusion. Maybe not in one game, hopefully in 2, of DK versus LGD China. See you in just a moment.
Tell them already, and me tell them again. Say, we don't want a friend from them. We not just nobody from the past 2010. We know say I never send them. And we know have the time for you thump and a turn and a twist. We know Mike Tyson and a Chuck Norris. Now we know boy come dump up. We see must see money from the dump up with the extra clip car. Say my bad man for you. Na bad man for the weak, we no need the boo. Say my bad man for you. Na bad man for the weak, we no need the boo. No. Say my bad man for you. Na bad man for the weak, we no need the boo. Say my bad man for you. Bad man for you. Them not ready for this. I will find. We'll find. We have to find it. Alexis coming your way. You wanna let shoot?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Game 2 of LGD China versus DK. No, this is not the International 3, but it sure feels like it. This one, in Game 2 now, LGD China leading the set 1-0. I'm LD, joined here by James Too Good Harding. How you doing, James?
Yeah, really good. Looking forward to Game 2. I know you've already got some predictions, and they're actually already in the bands and picks.
I was right for once.
And yeah, I can. He was banging on about Anti-Mage, going, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be in this game, and I guess we just spoiled a little bit. Unless you got a Dota TV, if you're in the Dota TV client. So we'll send it over to Lumi and Malini, and we go straight in game, and you can see how this is already panning out.
If you're not watching Dota TV, you definitely can be. Tournament ticket $7.99, and you know I missed a little bit of first blood here and there, but if you got Dota TV, that's on you, you know. Of course, I am Luminous, and I'm joined by Merlini, as this is Game 2 of DK versus LGD Gaming. LGD Gaming is up one game after some spectacular mid-game play, and of course, the winner of this set is going to be guaranteed third place of Alienware Cup, sponsored by Alienware as well as MasterCard, and that's $7,000 in US cash prize.
Pretty chunk of change.
Yeah.
What would you buy if you had $7,000, Lumi?
I'll get back to you on that.
I mean, I know one thing for sure. You would get that value.
I would get that. I actually would go take a nice trip
To where?
to Asia, a little bit of Malaysia, Singapore, Hong
Get
Kong.
AM farming lessons?
Get
directly from
AM
Bernie?
farming lesson from the rich history
Okay.
of China. But
Let's get back to the game.
Yes.
The draft has been a little bit different. Bat Rider, first and foremost, has been banned out by LGD because LGD has second pick. Giving up Bat is just terrible idea. And it's almost as bad as giving up Wisp to Western teams. Not as bad, but it's still pretty bad.
Unless you get like 2 OP heroes back, right? Yeah.
And LGD banned out Alchemist, but left Anti-Mage in the pool. So they didn't have 3 bans. And if they did, I'm pretty sure they would have banned it out just because Burning is a monster on this. And they actually banned out the Shadow Demon as well. He's decent versus Anti-Mage, but I think that Naga Siren is actually a really good
Yeah.
pick by LGD here because the net kind of owns Blink heroes. But again, you need the damage to kill him during a Blink, or you need sufficient lockdown afterwards. Looks like they're going with a little bit of both. Gyrocopter has tons of magic and physical damage, and they have the Leshrac Split Earth to follow it up. And on the side of DK, we have Anti-Mage and Darkseer.
I'd like to talk about the net a little bit more. I feel like Naga, her spell set is one of the more underrated spell set in all of Dota because against an anti-mage who normally gets BKB, you could net through that. You cannot Manta out of a net. You can't Manta dodge a net, I don't think. So
I think you can Manta dodge it. You're invulnerable. Maybe. We need K-pop doses here.
yeah, we need K-pop doses to pop back. And also, I feel like one of the more annoying thing about anti-mage in team fights is like you almost kill him, he blinks back out, he has that heart regen, he comes back in, and team fight's over. Naga Siren says no to that, right? Like she's just so good at locking her down.
The problem is that are they going to be actually able to land it on the anti-mage though? Just because if team fights go the way that DK wants, ooh, Venomancer, I'll talk about that later. But we have a Blink Manta by anti-mage, and then he just causes so much havoc. By the time you net him, the team fight's mostly going to be not over, I say, but a lot of damage from anti-mage has already been done. And then they'll have like the vacuum wall follow with the mech, and then all this other stuff that they have. And they really need a way to get him into the net. Usually you want like a Bat Rider to pull him in, or an RP so you can follow it up. You need some sort of instant cast or near instant initiation on the anti-mage, or else he's just going to blink away from whatever danger is thrown his way. And Leshrac has a very long cast time. Homing Missile is never going to land on him, at least not as initiate. So I guess right now we pretty much just have the bear route, but again, that's not guaranteed, and he can Manta out of it and then blink out. So I'm a little bit worried about the execution. I know that Naga Siren is good versus anti-mage just for that net, but are they going to be actually able to hit the net on him? If you smoke gank, you have to you just have to have really fast reflexes on the anti-mage in order to blink out, or just phenomenal positioning from the smoke ganker. So I think that in theory it works out, but in practice I'm not sure if they're going to be able to shut this down.
You got to keep in mind that Naga Siren does have one of the longer cast points on all of her spells, so her net, is a lot slower. But the thing to point out here is LG seems like they don't really care about killing the anti-mage too much early game. They want to kill more towers. Yes. Leshrac, Lone Druid, Gyrocopter to a certain extent.
Keeper of the Light.
But of course, we definitely have thoughts from James as well as LD. James has gone off somewhere, but LD, what you got for us?
Well, for DK, they have 0 stuns, and they're a bit lacking in counter push. Venomancer wards sound nice in theory, but against a Lone Druid Bear, against Naga's illusions, how much do they really do? I feel they really need more AoE because they have to split push this game. They have to stall until burning gets really fat. So something like a twin-headed dragon here, perhaps. I think
Lina?
Big AoE is something they'll be looking for.
Yeah, they do pick up Lina. Thank you for that point here. But you were very ready to talk about Venomancer. Is a hero that we don't see too often. What do you think it's actually here for?
I think it's there for the triple lane. I think they want to continue the sort of aggression from last game, and again, they don't have really many BKB heroes besides the Gyrocopter, and it will do a lot of damage. You kind of just like sacrifice yourself in a team fight. Like last game we had Visage and Rubik just kind of die without doing anything. Venomancer, at least if he dies, he can get out of his instant ultimate. So that's a little bit nice. I don't actually know why they picked it up 3rd pick instead of 5th. Maybe they have a
crazy
pick.
Any possibility of a Warlock solo mid?
That would be sick.
I mean, DK's the team that has 1 or 2 on the creative scale, but if you get a Fatal Bomb Vacuum Venomancer, that is wombo combo to the fullest, and Song Siren that has nothing on that.
I think that Venomancer's Plague Wards are actually good offensively in pushes because LGD has actually good push, but not that good anti-push. And the Venomancer works as good anti-push and push, which is kind of cool. But is it actually going to be able to do anything? Most people go for really safe anti-push with like Shockwave, Power Shot, Ice Path, Dual Breath, and Keeper of the Light, Illuminate. Those are really long range. Those are really the safe ones. But again, Venomancer, Plague Wards, creativity, I gotta up them up a notch for this.
I think it's a little bit also for the early game defensive power, because when you play anti-mage, you're pretty much says, all right, we're not gonna try to kill you. We're trying to basically tank as much as we can early and hope we don't give up too many kills. Venomancer, if you drop that Gale, nobody's actually dying on your team. Generally, like you should be able to get away. Nyx is going to be the follow-up pick. I imagine this is going to be your solo mid. We saw Naga as a support last game, but she could definitely roam to the mid and play this farmer there as well.
So this is like the sort of instant stun that they need, a Vendetta into Impale or just a straight up Impale.
Right.
I think with that element of surprise on the anti-mage, they can follow up with the Split Earth, with the Call It Out, with the Ensnare to kill the anti-mage. So I like this pick from LGD. I'm glad they have some sort of initiate besides Naga Siren net / Song of the Siren, or just banking on a really lucky route by Lone Druid. So last pick will be Windrunner. Cool.
Okay, so this is, I imagine...
That's anti-push. Right?
It is a little bit of it.
A little bit.
I mean, do you go offensive trialing here if you're DK? No. Super, generally their solo mid player, is going to be selecting the Windrunner. So defensive trialing, featuring the Venomancer, Lina, and Anti-Mage. And then you're going to have Darkseer starting in the jungle most likely, and then rotating up top to defend. And then, of course, Super playing in the mid lane should beat out Xiao 8, who's going to be playing solo mid in this case here, on the Naga Siren.
Well, one thing that we actually didn't talk about too much is the Darkseer. We talked about a lot of the anti-mage and how he works against their lineup and whatnot, but Darkseer actually gets shut down pretty hard by Net 2, that disable being longer than most disables simply because it doesn't do any damage. And if Darkseer is in the offlane versus Naga Center, we may have a lot of trouble for him, but I think that Xiao 8 will probably take up that mid role. Oh, no, they actually swapped.
Yeah.
Wow. So...
This is the thing that you talked about somewhat, as we also see a swap between Sylar and Yao. Yao was originally on the Lone Druid, and I was raising my eyebrow a little bit, but everything is all right in the world of Sylar.
That leaner hair.
What leaner hair? The fire hair?
Yeah.
That $35.
I thought it was 35 euros
Is
or
it
40 euros. Regardless, that thing
expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
It's an iconic Lina headpiece though, the Arcana. So I'll go ahead and introduce a side of DK because I put my rares on them. Come on, Burning, carry us to victory! And more rares. So we see Super on the Windrunner. I actually don't know where he's going because he has a very atypical build. He dropped his Ring of Protection on the ground. I'm not exactly sure why, but we will find out soon. We have ROTK on the solo Darkseer or jungle Darkseer. We have yet to see. We have QQQ on the Lina, MMY on Venomancer, and Burning on the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, you don't go solo mid with a Ring of Protection on Windrunner, so...
I guess it might be ROTK, but then...
It has to be. Solo mid AM, are we seeing that?
It's actually
It's not
pretty
bad
good
against
versus
Naga
Xiao
Siren.
8.
Yeah. Well,
No, it's not Naga Siren. Remember, they swapped.
Oh, that's right. All right, let's go back to LG real fast. Xiao 8 is going to be playing solo mid, Nyx Assassin, and it is going to be a solo mid AM. I am quite excited.
Creativity, this is why they have a 2 and not a 1.
Not a 1 indeed. Yeah, I was going to be playing on the Gyrocopter, DDC on the Leshrac, DD going to be on the Naga Siren, and up top is going to be Sylar on the Lone Druid. They read the trialing perfectly. This is one hard cookie. Peanut to crack, whatever that phrase is. One hard nut to crack. As
Wait, how did Yao take damage? He's at 485 out of 549 HP. Was it the
super attack from high ground and low ground?
Okay.
And Gale is going to go right on DD. Any shackle shot, LSA, power shot, everything on DD. Can they go for the deny here? DD very low and no deny attempt as MMY draws the first
Where
blood.
was DDC for that?
DDC was warding and checking out the scenic route.
Wow, I mean, we almost always see DDC and DD just stick together the whole entire time, and I feel that a split earth there, especially near this choke, would have not secured the first blood for DK. So, again, they gave a first blood last game, so it's not that big of a deal, but I felt like that should have happened. Again, a little bit of awkward positioning by the supports.
We do have a rotation or a change of lanes here. Sylar now goes on mid lane, so Burning and Sylar, generally your one row in their safe lane, they are playing solo mid against each other. That's what I wanted to see for my compendium at TI3. 1v1 solo mid. Give us our carries. Give us our support players.
Do you think that DK should swap lanes now to give Burning that farm?
They are doing just that, and very smart doing so. RTK now rolling back mid, and Xiao 8.
Look at what Tusky said.
Well, we'll talk. We'll ask him a little bit more about that later. I just feel like Super and the rest of DK has beautiful, smart laning decision. Having a fairly defensive tri-lane. This tri-lane is not going to die. In fact, they're getting some kills up on the top lane. Burning's going to be doing absolutely fine in a 1v1 against Nyx Assassin. And I think the Darkseer is definitely a lot weaker on the mid lane, but you could actually go back and farm your safe camp.
It's just much better for Burning, though. Yeah, right?
I feel that DK is just one step ahead over LG right now in terms of lane.
Yeah, that was just I totally did not expect that coming, but great choice by them. ROTK, is he going to be stacking digs? Nope, it looks like he's not going to be stacking the small camp. It was a little bit better before they changed the pull time. I think they nerfed the leash range a little bit because you could cut down all these trees with Batrider, with Wisp, with Beastmaster, whomever, and then pull it over here. So they actually cut down the leash range for that, and in turn, it kind of hurts Darkseer solo mid because it's much more difficult for him to stack. But again, the Radiant versus Dire imbalance is a little bit lessened there because on the side of Dire, you can't really stack any camps with ease from the mid lane.
It is the musical chairs of lane swap as now Sylar goes back up top to haunt Burning. Let's see Burning's. Yep, straight up TP's back to the mid lane.
Wow.
Now you see me. Now you don't even get to Sal from his ROTK ally as ROTK Did bottle in
This is
mid-stream and
ridiculous.
surging back up top. And look at the TP back on the mid lane. I love this game, as Sylar says. Yep, I'm right with you. And let's see if ROTK is going to go back.
This is
We
ridiculous.
expected 80-minute farm, but I like how this game is going to start.
So
Dude,
who's actually pulling ahead in the farm wars
I have no
because
clue.
of this?
17 CS here and 16 CS on Sylar, and now 10 on Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage definitely falling a little bit behind, but
Xiao 8 is getting owned in
yeah,
this musical
Xiao
chairs.
is really falling behind as well. But Anti-Mage says, man, I have my own regen shop, as he has 2 Salve, a Tango. Getting a ton of denies here is Sylar, though.
So looking at the triple lane, they had first blood in the way of DK, and checking out the CS, it looks like Windrunner is the farmer in this lane with 8 CS. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter in the safe lane has, or in the offensive triple lane has 6. So it still looks to be fairly even after that. I don't think either team's making a move. They're taking a lot of damage from the flak though, and that is only a level 2 Gyrocopter. But MMY circling around the outside.
And DK, well, burning. He's going up back top. Doesn't have Blink Mana, unfortunately, so he has to walk it. Maybe he's going to get a little bit of Surge Assistant from RTK. No, RTK
Get that bottle charge. Hook him up.
Oh my goodness, these guys. And look at, guess what? Sylar says, I don't see the anti-mage in lane. Guess what? I'm going to go straight up top, but he's going to run into RTK a little bit of Iron Shell harass. I mean, who's actually ahead in all these lane swaps? I know Sylar's farming a little bit better.
Darkseer is owning with 26, but I don't know if he actually got an XP from
Back
a
in
lot.
the bot lane, though, a ton of engagement as MMY in big trouble. A pause come
that's-
out.
Yeah, that means he dropped.
Yeah.
Well, that is not good news for DK. Luckily, it won't be first blood for them, but MMY is almost certainly dead. There's a rocket barrage in the process. DDC is about to right-click him. DD is as well. So looks like second blood will go to LGD China.
Yeah, MMY is dead for sure, and DK, all of their spells on cooldown, and of course LGD is at basically full HP. They're going to focus on Yao. I think Yao's going to be fine as well, so I think they could get away scot-free. So I expected the DK trailing to win a little bit more handily, but it seems like Venomancer perhaps got a little bit out of position. I do want to talk about Venomancer a little bit more, because the recent buff on Poison Sting, and you can see that he's actually got a single point into it. I feel like Poison Sting, if you have the option to get the buff onto a ton of supports during a hectic team fight, in combination of your ultimate, you do a ton of damage. But granted that he has very low attack range, he has very
No
short
HP,
movement,
no
he's not going to be
items.
in the front lines. So I don't expect that to happen, but I just want to point out this hero is deceptively powerful in terms of team fight. But looks like Super has reconnected back, and we'll watch how this team fight is going to go.
He dropped during the middle of channeling Power Shot, or what is his teammate using? I'm not very sure about that, but he is channeling a Power Shot. It looks like it is going to be on Yao, and I'm curious to see whether they are going to be able to get a rebuttal kill.
Did you have Windrunner being available, so you can actually pop that and chase after her? No, Super's got to run. Diabolic Edict.
She's out of regen too, so Super is going to be dangerously low in between QQQ and Super. They only have one Tango to share. Venomancer actually has a lot of money. He bought boots already.
But I just want to ask you a question before the team fight or any more action breaks out. In all of these lane switch, you got to favor LGD a little bit more, right? Because they're getting the better end of the lane switch. They just got an extra kill on the bot lane. They're getting a little bit more CS as well. They're actually initiating right on QQQ, Net and Slurf, and now they're coming right back in. QQQ's dead for sure, but a two-man Gale, and they want to focus on Yao. MMY in bigger trouble. They are going to get one kill. Super in big trouble as well. They all do back off, but they're really out of regen.
ROTK from behind.
Uh-oh, that's one kill, or at least trying to get the first kill. The net's going to come through, and gotta be some beautiful power shot.
He has Tranquil Boots.
Mana.
He has Tranquil Boots though.
Right click.
Oh.
Man. He just doesn't want to come in because he sees Yao backing him out. And of course, the musical chairs. Does Burning have a bottle? Burning has a mother effing bottle as he is running through the river so much. You might as well, right? This has got to be the first time in history in a professional game that Anti-Mage has a bottle. We've seen it. Mushi's done it before. Well, we've seen it all. And of course, now we have bottle crawling for the AM. What are we doing?
And I think that ROTK actually could have gotten a kill. He kind of blocked himself with the illusion here, or you can just Ion Shell the illusion so that if he nets you, you just chase with illusion. If he nets your illusion, then you just chase him with your real hero. He was very, very close to dying, and I think a little bit more micro would have eked out a kill for them. So they wasted a lot of time there. I think the rotation for the early part was not really benefiting either team. Sure, Syllabear's getting a little bit more farm, but Nyx Assassin is not really getting any levels. Usually you're level 6 at this point, and he's only level 5. So I think that the musical chairs didn't really play out too well to either team. It's just delaying everybody's farm and levels. But with that rotation, I think that LGD is slightly ahead, even though DK has one more kill.
I feel like if everybody's somewhat delayed, if you're Sylar, you're happier, right? Because you could at worst go into jungle and duck in there and get a couple more CS. You could maybe push down tower if the enemy gives you the room to do so. You can't do any of that as Burning. Burning actually in big trouble. Blink out, my friend. Whew, that looked close.
Yep, he's almost level 6. If Xiao 8, oh, is he gonna blink on him? I would pop that Sal. Pop that Sal, man.
He is. Does he have Mana Void? No, he doesn't.
Nope.
He's actually very
He can
close.
bottle up and do it though.
No, he has no level 6. He's only level 5. Everybody's
only like he's level 6 now. Is he gonna? Oh no, Xiao 8 is way back.
And then Sylar says, yeah, I'm going to go back. He's got the face boot now, so he's definitely lane swapping a little bit quicker. And Burning, you got to keep in mind, because he's going for bottle, because he's going to all these lane switch, they're not getting Battle Fury. This is not the 14-minute Battle Fury that we expect out of Burning. And this is their first pick, right? They put so much eggs in this basket, and I don't know about all these lane swapping.
We'll see, though. We shall see. Meanwhile, Xiao 8 TP's top, desperately trying to get level 6 right now. And ROTK almost level 7. So ROTK, even after moving bottom, not getting kill, he is, I think, the highest leveler besides Sylar. Sylar around 7.5 right now.
One thing I do want to point out that if Sylar, or excuse me, ROTK, as they do a bottle swap, if ROTK gets a quick mech, that is absolutely mind-breaking, game-breaking against this particular team, because they have nothing, they being LGD, to counteract against that. It really will allow the Radiant to kind of push a lot more aggressively. The other thing we haven't talked about too much is if you do the lane swap, Sylar is working towards your tier 1 or any tower on the mid and top, so DK's got to be very careful to not take too much damage on these tower, as we have a rune check here from our TK, and regen rune gonna get taken by Spearbird. Nicely done.
Yeah, nicely done indeed, being able to return out before he got that regen off. So free heal for the bear, that is huge. That's like 1800 HP for him.
Yep.
And one thing we didn't talk about was also the Plague Wars. The Plague Wars is also very good for scouting. The night vision was nerfed a little bit, but still we saw him use it over here just to scout out the aggression from LGD, and it's pretty good. But I think they really need sentries to counter this Nyx game. They know that Nyx is level 6 right now. He's out of mana because Burning has harassed, and it is very atypical for these Chinese teams to get caught to Nyx ganks this early in the game, because you always have to expect it, right? Nyx, level 6, he's missing. He's probably ganking somewhere. So I think that they are very prepared with the sentries as of right now, and they need to protect Burning as well.
Well, this is definitely a atypical game, right? Shackle Shot's gonna fly and miss. If they do get caught as Shai walks back to base, you could definitely TP the bot lane. If you get a successful TP gank on bot and gets a double, triple kill.
Oh, they're gonna net MNY?
But the MNY is already on the run. There's a couple wards down, and I think Xiao is going to be the X factor.
Sylar's owning these towers, though. Is he going to be able to kill it, though?
No, he's going to resummon. But yeah, all the lane swaps, I think Sylar is definitely coming out ahead with the most CS on the map, with a ton of tower damage on both tier 1 mid and bot. I think all these
is this
lane
tower going to get denied?
Wow, nice deny on RTK, and that's a key mistake on Sylar. He has way more damage than RTK. He's going to surge out, no retango here. Really smart lone drip players could have resummoned the bear and went for another Nitango. We definitely see AUI 2000 do that a ton, but he just resummoned the bear, so that's definitely not an option.
I hear another shackle. It will miss yet again. Do we need a shackle count from K-pop Tosis?
No, you throw out those shackles like you throw out candy.
You throw it like
I do want to point out that Nebula and I were at Vegas.
Burning got a rune.
And he got a jar of $30 candy, and he was giving it out to little kids. So I just want to point that out there. Tier 1 in the mid lane, not going to get denied as Lone Druid. Burning in big trouble here. They could use Vendetta for the extra damage. They do. Oh, but Invis Rune on Burning. What's up? Anti-Mage getting
bottle
the
paying
bottle.
off. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's like almost saved him 600 gold right there.
Yeah,
not dying and
I
being
guess.
able to farm right now.
And
I mean,
he's
that's
been
huge.
able to, he actually gets another salve. Man, Burning
He's so poor though. Oh my
is so
goodness.
poor. He is
What is he gonna do for items?
He's got a bottle, man. He's actually doesn't even have Mana Void, because
Oh wow.
why you get Mana Void, right?
What do you get? When you can blink?
You can max blink and get stats.
Screw the burning build. Let's do the 1-4-1
This
build.
is the new burning build, guys. Go solo mid, bottle first, and then lane swap. I really think he should pick up a Quallen Blade after his power trip, and